and welcome to our first of two-part end of 2014 Comic Conspiracy Best of podcast. My name is Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Bryce.
And Charlie.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello, Higgins.
I'm doing good, Higgins.
So on this lovely couple days before Christmas...
Doing well, sorry.
Thank you. Christmas
I am.
is mere days away, and we are here recording the lovely comic store.
Days away. I can smell the pine trees in the air and Santa come down the chimney. Dude, my son is so cute.
You can smell Santa coming down the chimney?
So I have a 2-year-old son. A 2.5-year-old son. He thinks that because we keep pointing to the chimney, that's where Santa's going to come, and he's going to put the presents under the tree. He keeps on pointing to the chimney. He thinks that that's where Santa's going to put the presents. So he keeps trying to move. We have this little thing of logs in our chimney. You know, that's where it goes in the fireplace. Yeah. He keeps moving the logs so that the presents can fit in the chimney.
Well, yeah, he's got to make more room for gifts, man.
Yeah.
Those logs are taking up
Stop
space.
moving the fucking logs, JT. Anyway, it's adorable, but hilarious.
Are you going to announce your after Christmas sale now?
Yeah. If you
Nice,
stop
Charlie,
by
good job.
on Friday through Wednesday of this week and into next week through New Year's Eve, we'll have a sale. You should go on our website and find out more about that.
You just put him on blast. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So this episode, our first half here, hopefully Toby's going to be able to join us next week. We're going to talk movies and TV next week. This episode's going to be all about comic books, as that's the thing we do. We talk about comic books here.
We talk about comics?
Occasionally.
And some of us actually read them.
Although it feels like we've been talking a lot about TVs and movies the last year or so, but
Yeah.
at the
Well,
heart
We're
of
going to
it-
be talking.
obsessed.
We're going to be talking tons more TV and tons more movies in the coming years.
God.
So.
I'm not
Okay,
starting.
we should devote an entire episode just to the Spider-Verse.
I'm not
Oh,
starting
Jesus.
a second podcast. I'm not
Dude,
starting a
that would
second
be awesome.
podcast.
Yes.
So,
or an episode dedicated to cable.
Ow.
The Cableverse.
So
Rick was like, no.
I just want to say this, and people out there may have a hint. I'm going to try to do something that you guys may have to in a episode in about 11 weeks or so. I'm going to try to get someone here that I want you two to be around for. That's also a very big cable fan. Let's just leave it at that.
He's getting Rob Liefeld.
So
Gonna have a cable off.
there may be a cable off here, and I'll sit in the back, and I'll sit in the back,
Your feet would be so huge that it would be embarrassing.
and I'll just sit in the back crying.
I'll just whip out my statue.
Whoa.
Jesus, now they're whipping out
As
shit.
long as that's all you're whipping out, Charlie.
So on this very special first of two-part episode, we're going to talk about our top 3 favorite comics from Marvel, DC, and Independent. So,
Well, Ryan,
Since
I'm glad
we-
you asked.
since Marvel is, always the big gun, we're going to start with DC. No, we'll start with Marvel. Bryce, you've got a list, you've got homework, you got paper, you got notes.
Okay, Bryce, before you start, you need to scan this and just put it on Instagram and stuff so that
Well,
people can just read it.
That doesn't mean that you would read it anyway, Brock.
I'm just wondering how long his top 3 list
Now-
is going to be.
Now,
14 titles.
we do have 9 comics each that we'll be discussing,
Nope.
and normally I wouldn't assume that would take a full hour, but Bryce is here. So Bryce, we love how much you love comic books, but let's keep it reasonable.
Look,
Okay, at least outside of Marvel, we know it's going to be really short.
Yeah,
so
it's short. So we're going to get it over with fast.
look.
Top 3 DC is
Ask
going
my
to
wife,
be
It's very fast.
top 3 DC is going to be Cyclops, Daredevil, and X-Force. So those are top 3 DC books.
Top 3 DC.
Yeah.
As in, damn those comics.
Yeah. Okay, Bryce, why don't you start us off with your top 3 Marvel comics for 2014?
Why don't I start with DC? It's a much shorter list.
Oh.
No,
Shorter than 3?
it is.
We're starting with Marvel.
We're starting with
And then
Marvel.
we're gonna-
Okay, let me just get DC out of the way. I haven't read DC except for Forever Evil, which was really good, except that David Finch's art was rushed.
You could say this when we're all done talking about Marvel. We're going to do all Marvel.
All Marvel. All right.
And all
okay.
DC. And then we're going to wrap
All
up
right,
with all the
bastard.
Rangers.
Okay.
Who would have thought we'd ever have to strong arm Bryce to talk about Marvel?
No,
No, I'm just trying to get the crap out of the way. Just kidding. Kind of.
we are getting the crap out of the way.
Doesn't have to be in order.
Look.
It can be in order.
I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick rundown, and then I'll give you my top 3. So, okay, look. This year, 2014, Hawkeye experienced some ups and downs. Mostly downs this year, as opposed to ups.
It's not a down when you don't get published.
Not funny.
It's been 9 months since the last issue's come out, or 8 months or something ridiculous.
Did they cancel that title?
It's. I think it's ending after Fresh.
Nope, you're both incorrect, actually.
There is an omnibus supposedly going to be coming out for it, though.
Oh my god, whose fucking turn is this?
Only thing Charlie cares about.
Yeah, fucking no shit. All right, look. So I rated these on the high, medium, low. I also have a top and a bottom as well. And
It's only 3 books. How hard is it?
No, he actually has
I have
honorable
like 20.
mentions.
I have 20.
There's HMs
Look, I'll try to go
all
quick.
over
Okay,
that paper.
look. If you guys would stop fucking interrupting me, Hawkeye is a really good book. I think that it captures the hipsterness of the Hawkeye character very well. I mean, Matt Fraction's hipsterness in other books is really aggravating. When he was doing X-Men, I think that it was hit and miss. Some characters, it's like they're not that hipster, bro, and some it was like, oh yeah, I can totally see them being that hipster. And I don't mean to overuse the word hipster. It's just that it sort of sums up, in my mind at least, sort of his style, whether or not that it's Urban Dictionary quotable hipster. Anyway, look, I want to talk about Superior Spider-Man. Probably one of my top 3 of the year. Maybe you wouldn't have if it wasn't ending right now, but dude, Superior Spider... Wait, no.
Amazing?
No, I'm sorry. I totally didn't say the in-between words. Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
What to say? You're all over the place right now.
Yeah, well. Anyway, Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Fucking great book that just ended. Superior Spider-Man also ended, and was also a great book, but was not as good as Superior Foes, which I believe didn't get a fraction of the credit that it deserved. That was a really warm book, full of heart and just great humor. I'll try to briefly talk about the X books. There was a lot of them. If I had to give top 3 X books, since this is the top 3 Marvel thing, the top 3 X books were Brian Wood's X-Men that became, is it Paul Guggenheim?
Yeah.
That book. Possibly the biggest surprise of the X books in terms of the fact that it stayed legit. The other biggest surprise was the Amazing X-Men, which sort of traded in its gimmick amazing precursor or whatever. What's that word before the X-Men title? What is that word called? It's the
adjective.
Yeah, it is adjective.
Yeah,
actually, I'm
like
shocked that I didn't
uncanny
realize
X-Men
it.
and all
yeah,
that.
No. I thought that it'd have a fancier word. Okay, sorry, boring adjective. So the Amazing X-Men, sort of throwaway title, at least in theory, but ended up being ended up being great that they continued to actually have it be a legit book. They put Chris Yost on it after Jason Aaron left. Jason Aaron leaving was sort of like, oh, Jesus, well, this is going to be sort of like astonishing when fucking Whedon left.
I like the Wendigo arc.
But, Chris Yost staying on it instilled a bunch of solidarity into the book, made it legit. War of the Wendigos was actually not bad, and now they're keeping it a really solid read. Nothing amazing, but nothing bad.
Out of all the X books, I would say huge fans of the '90s X-Men and stuff I'd suggest that book too.
Huge. That's a great way of putting it. Huge fans of the '90s. I totally agree with that.
So are these is this 2 of your top 3 books?
Which leads to my top 3 X-Men book, which is Uncanny X-Men by Brian Michael Bendis. Look, he's doing a great job with all new X-Men, and I've always loved Bendis, and I think that he's not as quote unquote revolutionary as he was. I do think that he was revolutionary with what he did with the Avengers, at least at the beginning. But Bendis has been doing a great job with the all new X-Men in terms of instilling new life into it. But dude, his fucking Cyclops is a villain, and I'm going to make a villain X-Men team, and I'm going to make them sympathetic, like the good seasons of Dexter. Really have been making this Uncanny X-Men book very well done and very enjoyable.
I feel like he and I have been reading different books.
I like Uncanny.
Yeah, but they never seem like a villain team.
They're friends. They're friends with Cyclops every issue, and they're like, until next issue. Then I'll fight you.
I mean,
I still love Uncanny.
So
I love them both.
Maybe a villain book is a little overselling it, but I disagree with you that they're friends every issue. I mean, the whole premise is that everybody hates Cyclops, and that Cyclops is like in here in the last couple issues, he's talking to this fucking. Okay, it is kind of lame that they have this yet another Omega level. It's like, okay, it's another fucking month. They have another Omega level mutant that they're dealing with. So that is, kind of half shitty. But, it's cool. And maybe this is just me coming off the high of the last issue, but Cyclops is like, look, we have to fucking fight for ourselves, and this is mutants versus everybody. And at the end, spoiler alert for the last issue of Uncanny X-Men, Magneto shows up and he's like, "You've gone too far, bro." And I think that he's doing a great job. I think this is, I've said this before, I think this is one of those things where we're going to look back and we're going to be like, that was a fucking great run of X-Men.
Let's get to, we need your top 3.
Are we on your top 3 yet?
We have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Bendis has done a great job.
Top 3 Marvel.
That's what I said. Take a picture of your list. And
can I do like a top 3 boring choices and a top 3 most surprising? Okay, I will.
Be very
don't do it. Don't do it.
Top 3 legit choices: Uncanny X-Men by Brian Michael Bendis, New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, and another one to be determined. Top 3 most surprising are Superior Foes of Spider-Man by Nick Spencer, Amazing X-Men by Jason Aaron, and then later on Chris Yost. Inhuman by Charles Soule. Oh, and I want to give a special shout out to the Long Shot Saves the Marvel Universe.
I'm gonna start playing you off here.
Listen to me.
Oscar.
Long Shot Saves the Marvel Universe that Ryan Store didn't actually order.
Year?
Was this year. It was a 4-issue miniseries. If you can find it, I actually legit recommend you reading it because it has the in-betweener in it. It's a 4-issue, actually like enjoyable story with Long Shot, which
so he
wasn't
was the
written
only
by
one you were ordering it for.
Which
I ordered a couple.
No, well, I never saw it on the shelf, and I was here every week on Wednesday. So
the first 2,
yeah.
So anyway, if you enjoy Long Shot, not written by Peter David, since he's the only fucker that has written Long Shot in the past 2 decades, that was really good. Thor, so good. Moon Knight, so good.
Okay.
I have so much more to say.
Save some books for the rest of us.
Yeah, basically, I'm going to sum up this list.
Deadpool versus X-Force with Pepe Larraz on art. His art is really good.
Okay, how about this? Next episode you're on. First episode, like, I will just let you go, okay? And you can just go.
I'm done. I don't want your sympathy.
He's trying to like pump the entire Marvel catalog
I know.
at this point.
There's more.
I have so much more to say.
I know. We're already a fifth of the way through this podcast. We have to hurry.
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited.
I know. That's great.
But I won't have any DC stuff to say, so that takes away from my DC time.
Okay, that's fine. You can maybe give us another one. Think about 1 or 2 more, and you can tell us during your DC time. Charlie, top 3 Marvel.
Wow, it's going up to
yeah, top 3.
It used to be top 5. Now it's top 3 after
1.
Bryce took all the
top 1. There you go.
Okay, so I looked at these not from single issues, but in terms of my overall enjoyment of the series as a whole over this past year. So I went with Thor because the Thor book, even with the transition to the female Thor, has been an extremely strong book and very, very awesome. This is where I cheat like Bryce does a little bit because I'm not going to pick a single book, but I am going to pick an event with the Spider-Verse because I have liked every single Spider-Verse book and I don't feel like I could say, well, you should just read no, read them all.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Everyone.
So Spider-Verse is my second choice. And then the last one, which is actually my number 1, is Silver Surfer.
Ooh.
I really like the Silver Surfer book.
That's a good list.
Wait, you don't want to extrapolate on any of those? I heard that was in vogue.
Okay, fine. The Silver Surfer book is
No.
very,
The ones that people
very,
care about. Talk about the Spider-Verse.
Okay, Spider-Verse.
Bryce cares about.
Spider-Verse for me, hands down, is the amount of fun I have when they go visit the 60s Spider-Man TV show version of Spider-Man with the spectacular Spider-Man version from the early 2000s, if I recall, and throw in Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales into the mix and all. Like, I love just reading these and being like, holy crap, that's Spider-Man the Amazing Friends.
R.I.P. Amazing Friends. So sad.
Yes,
so
that was sad. But still, my favorite is the newspaper strip.
Yeah.
The newspaper strip one was just phenomenally awesome so each of these universes, they've tried to sort of encapsulate like what those universes were like. So for the newspaper strip one, they always had to have the first panel recapping what happened in the last panel of the previous one. And like it just starts wigging Moreland out as basically he has to keep recanting dialogue over and over. And it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So for me, not too dissimilar from Charlie. Amazing Spider-Man, Dan Slott, and cast.
Wait, was that how fast it was supposed to be?
Yes.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can extrapolate when need be.
At this rate, though, the podcast is going to be over in like 10 minutes.
Pick 3 and talk about them. Not.
All right.
90.
I needed an example.
Amazing Spider-Man. Very fun book. I didn't think I was going to like it so much post Superior, which we talking about. I think that was my Marvel book of last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say Amazing started a little slow, but it's definitely picked up. And again, like Charlie said, because of Spider-Verse, it's become just so much fun. I love all the Spider-Verse stuff. I wasn't sure if I was going to. I figured, this could be kind of cheesy, maybe be fun. We don't know, but no, it's been great. I should also say our best-selling Marvel comic. So there you go. Between Superior and Amazing Spider-Man, it's been our best-selling comic for like 2 years straight now.
More than Savage Wolverine.
Yes, multiple times more.
I'm sorry. I'm just playing.
I didn't realize me and Charlie's list were going to be so similar because Silver Surfer, also on that list, Dan Slott and Mike Allred. Real fun book. I am not the biggest Silver Surfer fan. I like him. Yeah. I wasn't sure where the series was going to go, but I love Mike Allred.
Yeah,
when he's on a project that clicks with me. X-Force was that, and now Silver Surfer is as good as this guy's done.
First of all, it was Ecstatics. That wasn't X-Force.
Ecstatics.
Second of all, you have your head so far up Mike Allred's ass, he might as well be Frank Quitely.
We'll get to him later.
Yeah,
but Allred's great. I mean, that issue 7, I want to say, where the alien, where they're doing like the one shot or the 2-page stories of Dawn Greenwood, his little companion girl his little Earth girl that's going around. Where he makes all the dots go away and all these different things when he's remembering her. That part where they're like, oh, we put her in the middle of the giant maze, and it's like one of those old school mazes in a coloring book that you get to go through. Dan Slott does a great job writing, but Mike Allred really kills it on this book.
And the second they announced him on this book, I'm like, that was just he's made to draw weird-ass cosmic stuff.
He's not a Kirby ripoff, so he's not going to be referred to as, it's just kind of that Jack Kirby stance. But he has that same sort of just crazy and free-flowing and fun nature that Kirby has. It's a very different take on it, but it has a very similar feeling, I feel. And my third was a kind of a surprise book for me. I when I was going over my list, one just kept popping up in my head, and I didn't think I was going to pick it, but I did, and that's Rocket Raccoon by Scotty Young. I love this book. It is a lot. Again, kind of like Silver Surfer, a lot of fun. Really not what I was expecting. Very standalone, does its own thing. I like this whole first arc with his kind of evil ex-girlfriends coming down to chase him down. That's pretty fun. The little kind of twist in the I think 2 issues ago.
Whole I Am Groot issue.
That was pretty. I'm sure. I'm mad. I hope he didn't get paid much to write that issue, but it looked great. So that was yeah. There was an issue where Groot told the story, and the entire story was I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot.
It's so funny how they it's still I wouldn't
funny.
say good joke, but it's still enjoyable.
It's still funny.
No matter, and they've done it so much, but I still am not sick of it.
Yeah. And Rocket is that it feels like a different book. I mean, it really is a cool little cool style. So I like it a lot. So those are my books. Go ahead, Brock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna bite off Charlie's list, just like everybody else apparently. So I'm actually gonna go. Thor is probably my top of Marvel, even with like I said, the creative team change.
The relaunch has been good.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't necessarily need it, but it's still good. I still enjoy it. But which I'm apparently missing an issue, but the top picks for me is I like hers. Edmondson's Punisher has been really good. I've really enjoyed kind of that take on Punisher. Again, doesn't really attach itself to much that's going on in the Marvel Universe. It's just a really solid, good book every week or every month. Next up is Inhuman. I've liked Charles Soule's take on what's been going on with the Inhumans.
I cannot get into that. I tried.
Dude, it's because you're a hater, dude. That is what it is. You didn't like it because Joe Mad started the series, but actually Charles Soule has totally turned it into a legit read.
It's the Joe Mad issues took away from the series,
Yeah.
and it was really difficult because it was like you're looking at rushed Joe Mad art, and it's just about the Joe Mad art, but the story hasn't been like horrible. It's been a very solid kind of establishing Inhumans in this, Terrigen mist crossing, going across around the Earth kind of world. The last issue was a little jarring with the tie-in with Access because it literally was like, yeah, Soul, you got to write an Access issue, and so it kind of, so hopefully in the next issue it'll pick up back where it was. Yeah. And then last on my list, I can't stand the art. Like, the art is completely and utterly horrid on this book, and I'm for me personally, but I read
Why
it
would
and
you pick it?
I enjoy it. It
Wait,
is
Inhuman?
no, this is my next one.
Oh.
Because the last two basically are tied. So it's She-Hulk by Charles Soule.
There was just that one arc that had horrible art.
To me, I'm
That one
like,
arc? It's on issue 10.
There was like a two-issue maybe.
There was one. There was
Oh,
a couple. There was a couple arc. The art's not the best. I don't enjoy it overall. But yes, there was one arc where it was completely and utterly abysmally horrible.
I love it, except because it looks a lot like my God, right? Except for that, I can't remember the artist. It was really, really terrible.
But I mean, Charles
great
Soule's been doing a great job. And what's great about this book is he's a lawyer, and so this is very well written, especially in that kind of voice. So
Canceled issue 12, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, those.
Wait, I don't
those
remember this. Is that
She-Hulk?
true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rumor is just coming back though. It's going to be like a volume 2. Mm-hmm. Take a break for a
That's a
couple
little
months.
reminiscent.
Yeah.
Slot run,
the
right?
slot run. Yeah.
All new She-Hulk?
Yeah, all new She-Hulk. But yeah, those Soul books are kind of tied for me, and then Punisher and Thor, like those are the ones that really carry through. And I think I really enjoy all of them. Inhumans has a little bit connected to continuity, but I enjoy them because they're not necessarily within continuity of what's going on in Marvel. They stand alone by themselves very well.
Yeah.
You know what really annoys me about Rick Remender is that his shit seems to be... I love Rick Remender. I love Low as fucking weird as that book is.
I couldn't get past,
I love Deadly Class and Black Science because those are actually legit good. I like a lot Uncanny Avengers because that is mostly good. Hate Captain America, even though I want to love it.
All new Captain America's actually been good.
No,
Yeah,
it's
the
not
first
good.
issue,
Huh?
I didn't
I
mind.
liked it.
I didn't mind the first issue, so I'm looking forward to the
I
second
hated
one.
the previous run.
I need a 12-issue arc of him in Dimension Z. I'm sorry.
you don't.
Did you think that was serious? So I actually hated that. But my problem with Rick Remender is that his shit.
Brock's buying that issue of Amazing Spider-Man.
It seems to be that his shit all takes place in his own universe and no one else's. Like,
Wait, is this your DC? Is this your top 3 DC pick? Is you're gonna bitch about Rick Remender for 5 minutes?
Sure.
So Rick Remender is his top DC
Did you
pick.
really not read a DC comic this year except for Forever Evil?
Correct.
Wow.
Look, if they would put out anything that was any good.
Hey-oh.
I'm just playing. Look, I'm sure that there was a ton of good stuff, but I've got a fucking 2-year-old,
I know.
and he's fucking off the chain crazy.
Excuses.
And I'm
Haters
sure that there's
gonna
a ton
hate.
of stuff, and I have a lot of bad Marvel stuff to go through, Ryan.
So how's that X-Force going for you, huh?
Dude, so this year in a life-altering decision, I was like, I can't. This is not meant to be racist, but the artist that did the X-Men Legacy, Lee Yun something or other, it's like a Thai name or a Vietnamese name, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. It seems to be some Asian name that I don't understand. He does the art, and so I'm reading X-Men. Is it Revolutions or
Axis Revolution.
Axis Revolutions, and there's this story, and I didn't look at who the writer was and who the artist was, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting art / not very good looking, and then I'm reading the story, and it's like Doctor Strange, and if you're reading New Avengers, you're like, Doctor Strange is fucking like off planet. He's been gone for forever, and it's a story about Doctor Strange on Earth, and it's like, who the fuck is writing this? Doctor Strange isn't on Earth. What a fucking idiot. And then I'm like, and by the way, this art is fucking atrocious. This is garbage. And so I'm reading along, and Doctor Strange has this smarmy look on him because the artist just hates him, and the writer is making him to be this total douchier douche than he already is. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, oh, No. Oh, God, no. And so I go to the artist and the writer, and it's Simon Spurrier, and it's the same artist that did a lot of X-Men Legacy with him, that just draws the most smarmy motherfucking Legion that you've ever seen. He looks like such a loser, and it's like he's stuck with him like Morrison sticks with Quitely. It's like, look, I understand that you like your bro friend, but goddamn, this art is passable and your writing is horrible. Doctor Strange isn't even on this planet, much less your whole story about him being fucking like brainwashed when he wasn't even on the island with the Red Skull.
Like, good list.
Okay.
Good list. Charlie.
I'm actually just having fun going, so his best DC list was his worst Marvel list.
All right.
Look,
good DC list.
Look,
good DC list,
let me
Bryce.
lightning round this. This is my DC lightning round. Cyclops was fine. Magneto was subpar. Storm was straight up bad, and Nightcrawler I really wish was better, but it's not. I'm done.
Charlie, give us your top 3 DC books.
Okay.
Vertigo included in this list if you want to.
Oh, we can include Vertigo?
Sure, yeah. Well, it could be Vertigo could be indie, or it should be DC, but
Okay, so start with, I am going to go with Wonder Woman with the Azarella run finishing up. It had a very, very strong ending, and
This is spoilers for last week. Did you flip through your Wonder Woman that came out last week? The one that was on the shelf?
Came out this week?
Yeah, there's one this week, not last.
Oh, last week,
yeah. No, I haven't.
You should flip through that last week.
I will.
You did.
Soon.
You just
I'm
forgot
sure.
it. Yeah, so
Yes.
go ahead. So yeah, flip through Wonder Woman before.
I hate the holidays. They screw me up.
Anyway, so yes, Wonder Woman.
So
Azarella run.
The Azarella run,
So good.
super legit, totally suggested.
Yep.
It's over now.
Yep.
It was issue
35
35 or 30?
35.
35. Yeah.
Great run. Can't suggest it enough. Go out, buy it.
The comparison I've heard multiple times of that book, it's sort of like their Wonder Woman take on like a Sandman take on Wonder Woman, and I totally agree. It hits a lot of those same points.
Okay. Second pick is Harley Quinn. Just any book
Is that because Power Girl's boobs are on that cover?
Well, the issues with Power Girl have been awesome.
Yeah.
But I have to say my favorite issue, I think, of this year was the one where the guy kidnapped her.
Oh, yeah, that one was
The
awesome.
crazy one.
Yeah.
Put her in the cage, had all her old costumes up around, and she literally talks her way out of it and promises the guy a date if he goes and gets help, kind of thing. Like, I love that issue.
That's sexist. I'm just so angry.
What?
Here, you can stare at Power Girl's boobs for a little while.
That's misogynistic, Charlie.
And you're doing it.
Yes, of course he is. And my last book is actually Sinestro. I've really liked the Sinestro Lantern book. Like
You have to have a lantern in there, right? You have to have a lantern.
I don't have a John's book in here. Do you realize how
You just feel dirty.
how painful that is? Actually,
Well, okay. No, I'll say it when I get to my list.
yeah. Like I want to have a John's book in my list. I just don't.
Is that your list?
Yep.
All right. Well, I have a John's book on my list, and that's Justice League, because Justice League has been fantastic this year. I think this is the best year of Justice League.
I didn't only read Forever Evil, I also read Justice League. And it's so delayed. And it's so like
Well, there were a couple delays around Forever Evil.
Yeah,
I
they
like.
delayed it a little bit, but they're back on schedule.
Yeah, I like the Forever Evil issues, but the post Forever Evil issues. So this is Jeff Johns, Ivan Rice, and more recent Jason Fabok. The stuff with Lex Luthor joining the Justice League has been so much fun. I've loved it. Very curious to see where they're going to go, and we just got solicitation, like talked about in last week's episode, about the start of the Dark Side War. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go in 2015. But Justice League has remained one of my favorite books. I do really like it.
It's good, but I have not been into this Amazovirus arc so far.
Well, I mean, I just like the Luthor aspect of the Justice League has been the selling point this year. I would say it's stronger than I would say this year has been stronger than the previous years for Justice League.
Thing
And I
that
like the previous
weirds
years.
me out a little bit right now on where we're at in Justice League is they made a big deal about announcing this new lineup.
Yeah.
But all the people who were supposedly going to be missing are still there.
Yeah.
Like, it just,
Well,
I haven't really felt like Lex Luthor's actually joined the Justice League yet.
he has. He's been going. Okay,
He has, as they're trying to basically come
Get
up
him
with
out.
evidence that
Yeah.
he's really trying to pull something.
Every time he's in the scene with Batman, it's the best scene in the comic. He just keeps calling him Bruce. It's the funniest thing. I love it. He's such a dick.
And Bruce just wants to punch him in the face.
Yeah,
Give him a good old Guy Gardner.
Yeah. My second is Batman and Robin. Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason have been killing it on this book, especially this Robin Rising arc. This feels, again, like a book that's just like, fuck the New 52, we're going to do whatever we want. And there's like, sure, we're going to fight Darkseid, and we're going to totally reference all this pre-New 52 stuff. We don't care. We're just going to do whatever. And it's been great. Patrick Gleason, unsung hero in DC Comics. He did great work on Green Lantern Corps. His art on Batman and Robin has been just spectacular. And last week's issue of Batman and Robin was really incredible. That ending. Woo boy. Remember all the reviews from last week.
Yeah.
Charlie, you should also go back in time and remember to flip through that last week.
I love time travel.
Yeah.
Have I ever mentioned that?
But of course, my number one DC book is not only my number one DC book, it's also the best book published this year, bar none. By the way, you guys can also have your favorite comic of the year if you want to pick one of your picks as your favorite comic of the year.
That's one fucking book,
one
Bryce.
book, Bryce.
Not
one
book.
line, one book. If you want to, you don't have to.
What
But
line
there's-
per publisher?
But there's no
per publisher?
There's no just one book. But there's no question in my mind that my
Because it might
book
have been a DC book.
of the year is Multiversity. It's not even a question.
No, it's Multiversity Pax Americana.
I mean, it's all of Multiversity. Multiversity is everything I wanted and more.
It's everything you've been kind of talking about for the past
for 6 years.
Yeah.
5 years for this book. So, man, that Pax Americana was just the icing on the cake. I mean, it has been such a good book, and I'm so excited for the next couple issues. And it wraps up along with all the Convergence stuff. So while maybe not directly tying in, they are acknowledging Multiversity as part of whatever this big event DC's doing, which makes me just love it even more. I love Multiversity, and it is you've heard me gush about this book every episode. So hands down, my favorite book of the year.
Okay, my favorite book of the year.
Brock, what's your top 3 DC books?
Top 3 DC books.
Oh, you didn't go yet. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I guess for me, one is Green Arrow. Lemire finished his run a couple months ago, and then Craigsburg has picked up.
He's a producer on Arrow too.
I've actually liked. It wasn't a bad transition between the two. The newer one is kind of trying to infuse some of the Arrow show aspects to it, and I mean, I think Green Arrow is just kind of evolving as a character in the past year, just with what Lemire was doing and what's going on now. And it's a fun book. It's a good read. I mean, if you love the Arrow show, it's definitely one you should be checking out, especially
For the last arc. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for the last arc. And I mean, if you like Arrow, period, I would say go back to the Killing Machine and start with Lemire's run on it. But I've been really enjoying Green Arrow. Next up is Batman Eternal. I'm behind in reading it, but I've really.
That's okay. I already spoiled it for you.
Yeah, I know. I've really been enjoying reading it. I mean, it's been a really good kind of. It's been good to see kind of a Bat family book just by itself work, and it's weekly, so it's a little more. I mean, you're getting a lot in 1 month, but I still enjoy it. It's definitely the stuff that's been going on in it has improved Catwoman immensely. That creative team shift has made that book 100 times more readable than the Anicetti shit. And I think it's really cool to see all of these creators that really enjoy Batman and really enjoy writing Batman work on one title together. And it's a great team book. So or creative team book.
And they brought back Hush.
Yeah. And they brought back Hush. Thanks for the spoiler. Actually, I think I already.
And they brought back Spoiler.
Yeah, I think I got to both of those parts.
Well, Hush has been in it for like the past.
He was like right at the beginning, like real. They were both real early in the series.
And the spoiler was about like she was in it, but they didn't bring it out until like 20 some odd issues in or something.
Either way, if you don't realize that Hush is in that book, you shouldn't be picking it
up. Yeah. And then probably my favorite book from DC is Swamp Thing. Again, another Charles Soule book, but his story for Swamp Thing's just been spot on, amazing.
And the Future's End issue was like hands down the best.
God, and the annual, the annual number 3 was amazing. Like Soul has been,
Sewell. It's Sewell.
Sorry,
it's fucking Sewell.
Shit. Whoa. I don't get all mad because I told you only one book, man. But yeah, if you're not reading Swamp Thing, I mean, you can go back to read the Snyder stuff and come forward, and it's totally, totally worth it. Batman, Justice League, those are books that I really enjoy. They're great titles, solid titles for me, but I didn't really want to pick them because, it's kind of a given that they're good. I wanted to feature stuff that I think
figured it was just
through.
0 Year that kind of...
Yeah.
Well, the Joker arc's been great so far.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be like, this is the best book ever, but you just have to ignore 9 months worth of it.
Or read all 9 months at once, not wait 9 months. So, but yeah, no, great books.
All right, Bryce, you got any indie books? Small press, independent, alternative?
Oh, I do.
Whatever your
I think these
choice
are. I
phrases.
think these are remender books.
This will be a much shorter list.
3.
We should just say like -4, and then he'll get it.
Okay. Low is outperforming. I didn't like Outcast. Wait, not Outcast. What's the Hickman? Was it Outcast? It might be Outcast. The Demon Possession boring book?
That's not Hickman.
That's Kirkman.
That's what I meant, Kirkman. They're both somebody's man. Saga, no fucking, spoiler alert there, is fucking incredible. East of West is also one of the top 3 Deadly Class. Southern Bastards have been great. Guilty Pleasure Starlight by, Ryan might edit this out because it's by Mark Millar. Velvet and Lazarus get special attention because they've both been great, but I was telling Charlie earlier, I only read them in 6-issue arc, or in 6-issue chunks, because that's sort of what the story arcs are, and they're incredibly enjoyable, but you have to be able to absorb the fact that they're not monthly books. They're 1.5 month or 2 months in between.
Why do you pick 3 and tell us about them?
Dead Body Road was a book club choice this year. It was also really enjoyable by Justin Jordan. I also picked up Cowl for the first couple issues and The Wicked into the Divine, the former of which I liked for more than one issue and the latter of which I did not. And then Trees, which was great but high concept enough that I had other shit to spend my money on that wasn't X-Force. I wanted to talk about something real quick that was indie that was not of this year, but came out from a movie this year.
Okay.
And that is Snowpiercer. Have you guys seen this movie, Snowpiercer?
Yeah, I saw it.
I need to see it. Yeah,
This might come out.
It's on Netflix
in the movie part of the podcast, but it's more comic related than movie because sure, it's a great movie.
It's
but
based on a graphic novel.
yes, so I read the graphic novel and I almost considered choosing it for a book club pick, but it's really fucking bad.
The comic is?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's this French graphic novel that came out, I don't know, the late 80s, early 90s. And for those of you that read it, good for you. I bought it hardcover Charlie style. I think that's the only way it's available. I think it's
Charlie style.
yeah.
Charlie style.
Charlie
I mean, it's like one of the, European graphic novels.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And if I do have
graphic
the option,
albums.
then I would just get it Charlie style anyway, because it does look better on the bookshelf, I have to say, even though
Do you go to
Charlie's
In and Out and be like, I want those fries Charlie style? Is that... Sorry, West Coast joke for there. Sorry, guys.
Is that like really hard fries?
I'm just going to insert chirping here. So.
Yeah, that's weird. That's okay. Anyway, so Snowpiercer. I actually watched the movie and I was like, this must be an incredible comic because this was a great movie. The comic is, in my opinion, terrible.
Wow.
There's the art is good / fine, and they have random pieces that they just jump ahead, minutes, hours, or days in the future without letting the reader know, which is very what the fuck.
Sounds like Grant Morrison.
And just less well written. And it's very gritty and noir. Frank Miller would be very happy with it if it was a more cohesive story. Good Frank Miller, not nowadays Frank Miller. if it were more cohesive of a story. But basically, I would recommend reading the book and then watching the movie, not the other way around, because the movie was really good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It's got Captain America in it, and it is just so... And I don't know if anybody picked up on my sarcasm. That it's got Chris Evans in it, not Captain America.
I was going to say Marvel's going to sue.
And it's a very good movie, and the comic had a sequel, and the movie could have a sequel, although it would be infinitely better than the comic. The comic was not good, even though it was based on a comic. Read it if you see it at your library, but don't buy it. But the movie was really good, so I just wanted to talk about that briefly, because you should, if you can get it for free, read it, but definitely see the movie. The movie was really good. My top 3 image books of the year.
Image books, independent.
Sorry, they're all image books though. Sorry.
Actually, so are mine. I didn't even realize that.
God, you're such a douche. Oh.
2 out of 3 for me.
That was also sarcasm because so am I. Are probably going to be the same as you guys. Saga, East of West, and then a tie between Deadly Class and Black Science, because how could you not put those in a tie? They're the same book. They're about wildly different things, but by the same writer, and I think equally but differently good. Boom!
Dang, drop that mic. Charlie, top 3 indie. Let's do it.
Do you need my list to...
No, I have a completely different list. Top book for me was the Grooverse Conan.
Saw that coming.
Tons of fun in that book. And yes, any book that can just sort of make fun of itself and kind of realize how ridiculous the idea is and work that into the story completely works for me.
How do you pronounce the writer's name?
Sergio, I can't even pronounce it.
Sergio Aragonés.
Hey, no fucking helping him, Ryan.
Artist, too.
Yeah. So, really, really, really like that book. Velvet is always up there. I was sort of talking about how I'm not necessarily as excited for every issue that comes out, but it's always a solid read, and it's almost like one of those, like, it's probably the safest thing, just because I don't know anyone who dislikes that book who is actually reading it.
Velvet's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with Lazarus and East of West.
Everybody thinks this is what my choice is, but actually this is just here to remind me, because we didn't have Samurai Jack on the shelf at the moment. But the Samurai Jack book is awesome, especially if you were a big fan of the show like I was, and it's done a very good job of sort of capturing the same spirit of the show and working in different characters. And yeah, I'm hoping at some point Jim Zub is given the go-ahead to kind of give Samurai Jack the ending that it never got on TV. So, yeah.
All right. I have 3. I'll start with
3 image books.
They are I have 4 and 3. I have 3 image books. I have a special.
Talking so much.
Bryce is infecting us. We're adding shit onto our list.
I have a special shout out. So Southern Bastards.
I'll allow it.
Which is Jason Aaron and Jason Latour image title. Great book. This when Scalped ended, which was a Vertigo book about a undercover FBI agent in a Indian reservation,
a Native American.
Reservation.
No, he's a Native American undercover FBI agent. No, I didn't want them to get confused with Thunderheart. Never mind.
Again, chirping. So I was not sure. Jason Aaron tends to do some crazy stuff where he'll go for Ghost Rider and All Amazing X-Men and crazy, like, books that are a little bit more kind of not the style that I link him to. Mm-hmm. And when Scalped finished, I was like, well, I like these other books he's doing, but I want to see more stuff like Scalped, because he does gritty and violent and hardcore very, very well. And then we get Southern Bastards, which is basically Scalped with white people.
Yeah.
And if you want to see horrible Southern people try to kill each other, you should read Scalped. I'm sorry, you should read Scalped, but you should also read Southern Bastards. Dark, brutal book. Guy named Earl Tubbs, going back to his hometown, trying to clean up after his uncle and
father.
His uncle?
Nope, father.
No, it's after his it's his uncle, because his uncle ended. Or
I think it's like his uncle and
his uncle got his dad's property, and when his uncle passed away, he had to deal with all of the.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the family property
family
that he's going back to. I mean, he's dealing with his father's.
But his dad was the ex-sheriff, right?
He's dealing with his father's issues. He's there to deal with his family's issues. Let's put that
can we not talk about the cliffhanger at the end of the first arc?
Well, that's basically what I read through. I know it's 6, I think, or 5 or 6 just came out. Or 7 just came out?
No, 6.
Was it 6 that just came out?
Yeah, because the first arc was
the first arc ended,
issues.
and then they had one more.
Oh, maybe I read 4 or 5. So, did I read
as far as you did, the first arc.
5 had 5 had stuff about, or had kind of story about the coach.
Oh, maybe I didn't read that then. Maybe I only read the first arc.
Because 6 is out.
Well,
6 is out last week.
Okay, yeah.
Did you read the end of the first arc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, anyway, So the Bastards is really good. Never forget this. I did not expect that I would also have 2 horror comics on this list, but that happened. Outcast, I know Bryce said he didn't really care for that, but I actually really liked Outcast.
Yeah, it's good.
This is Robert Kirkman's new book. He does with, what's that? Bryce is yelling at me from the other side of the store.
The first arc is 5.
No,
Yeah.
first arc ends at 4.
It's like
You're right.
it's like 4 issues and then a one-shot issue.
And then a one-shot issue.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Okay. Outcast, horror comic, very much like Exorcist kind of style.
It's an Exorcist book.
I mean, so Kirkman did Zombies with Walking Dead. Now he's doing demonic possession and exorcism with Outcast. I mean, I'm so far behind on Walking Dead. I need to catch up. So I was like, well, I'll jump in with Outcast and I'll get my Kirkman fix that way, and it's been good. I really like I didn't catch the guy's name, Paul Azakeda. He good artist. It fits the book. It feels different than Walking Dead. It doesn't feel just like another Walking Dead. I like that one a lot. And then
There's color in the book.
Yeah, well, yeah. We're only 3 issues in, but I love Witches by Scott Snyder and Jock.
Dude, you're such a fanboy. It could be Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely 1 issue in, and you'd be like, best image book of 2015.
Witches is really good.
Witches is really good.
I don't instantly jump to horror books. The fact that 2 have really clicked with me this year it kind of says a lot. I've liked these a lot. A girl named Sailor Rooks, very weird name. I'm sure it'll have something to do at some point in the future. Her family were escaping from this violent
event
past
that happened.
Where these witches, these kind of creatures from the forest are coming after them, and she's kind of set up as that she killed this other girl. It was actually believed to be a witch that did it, but but everyone thinks it was her, the little girl that killed this other little girl, and sort of the family trying to deal with this while also trying to deal with this invading horror from the woods. So cool, very cool book. I love the art. Jock is such an amazing artist.
And Snyder and Jock teamed up with the detective stuff for Black Mirror, so it's good to see them.
Yep, Black Mirror. And Jock worked on the Losers Vertigo book from years ago. So my secret favorite independent book from this year, though, is Knights of the Dinner Table, which I talk about this book occasionally. It's a horribly drawn book about drawn by one guy about guys who play Dungeons and Dragons, except it's not called Dungeons and Dragons. It's been going on for like 20 years now or something, and the crazy shit that's gone on this year has been so good. This is my secret love. This is my secret favorite book of all time.
I love it. I've never seen it.
Knights of the Dinner Table is the first book I read when it comes out.
Yeah, what's hilarious is I'll come in on a week that it comes out, and he's literally sitting there. It's open, and he's bagging and boarding up books, and I know it's like just let him read. I'm quiet the entire time.
It's the first book I read every time it comes out,
and he would totally carry it if they put out better trades.
Oh, I would. They have these little what they call a bundle of trouble, where they collect like 3 issues into trade paperbacks. Except the series is on issue like 250 or something like that. Why? Like it doesn't. These aren't trades. It's like it's this dumb way to collect them. But I love this book, and if you know about it, you know about it. If you don't, you're never going to read it. So that's just my secret love book. So there you go.
It's a great list.
Yeah, Brock. You've You read a lot of indie books these days.
Yeah.
Especially, you read like the entirety of the Valiant line too. Is
Pretty
there
much,
any
yeah.
Valiant stuff in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I threw one in.
What do you like?
So I'll start out with Manifest Destiny, image title by Chris Dingus and Matthew Roberts. Art's awesome in the book.
I need to read that.
It's really fun. It just kind of action packed, trying to figure your way across an America that has fantasy creatures and
Plant zombies.
plant zombies and giant insects and it's really, really just an amazing book. Comes out on a fairly irregular basis, like month and a half or so. Because they're only on issue, I think, 13 came out this past week or something, or whatever the last week was. I don't remember what issue number it was.
Do you also read Velvet and Lazarus?
Yeah, I read Velvet.
So
I read
where
Lazarus.
would you rank this between those other two?
I prefer this book over the two.
Holy sh!
Well, considering the other two aren't in his top 3 list,
Well, it's
you
way
should be able to
different.
figure that out.
It's also way
they're-
different.
Sure.
Like,
Apples and oranges.
Like,
And
if I was
because
to
it's on
compare-
your top 10 list, I'm sure that means it's at the bottom of mine.
Yeah.
But
If I was to
interesting.
compare,
no,
like-
that's interesting that it's so highly regarded.
like if I was to compare Velvet and Lazarus, I would go with Velvet because kind of similar.
that makes
like,
one of us. Although I do love Velvet. I'm just saying.
I did not get into Lazarus. I don't know why. I read the first couple. I could not get into it.
You have to get past kind of the first story arc.
Maybe.
It starts to
I don't.
develop
I
more.
disagree.
Well-
I think that the first story arc can get you. Dude.
He didn't even get
like,
through the first story arc.
No, I got
Dude,
like
you're
2
totally
issues
wrong.
in, and
I'm loving Lazarus.
So, quick rant about Lazarus, and I'm going to compare this also to East of West a little bit.
Oh Jesus,
Those are
Charlie.
really good books as long
But-
as you can get into the sort of world and the politics that they're creating within
Yeah.
those books.
Yeah, which is easy because they're such good writers.
Whereas I think Velvet is one of those.
either.
Dude, East of West is different though because it takes a way longer time to get into the universe.
So Velvet, I think, is much more approachable because anybody who's ever watched a Bond film kind of knows what's going on in Velvet.
Yeah, but doesn't that make
it's
the
Bond with
achievement
tits.
of Rucka and Hickman that much more, I guess, brush your shoulder off worthy? Because it's like
I'm not saying those are bad books. I love those
you're
books.
such a fucking defensive bastard. I'm not saying I'm not saying that like it's better or worse. I'm just saying that yeah. Because they have the crutch of like, yeah, you've seen a James Bond book, so you know, like, elevator pitch. This is Moneypenny being James Bond. Sure. But, like, Lazarus is based on fucking nothing, and they had to build it from the ground up. And it's also really fucking good.
Yes.
Velvet
but
is too, but Lazarus is like, you can't really compare it to anything.
I guess
And fucking East of West, what the fuck how do you even describe that?
I tried East to West. I'm just
Horsemen of the Apocalypse in a post-apocalyptic world ruled by very corrupt people.
And even that doesn't encapsulate it. Not even really close.
With cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Death rides a horse that looks like some
It's like a robot dog.
turbine.
It's weird. But dude, it's
747.
good. Anyway,
continue, Brock.
Okay. Next up is
I can't wait to remanifest Destiny.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
It's good.
Top 3 book? Woof.
I've really enjoyed Exo Manowar this year, especially with the Armor Hunters crossover that took place. It's just been a really, really solid book from Valiant. Fun read every week. Vendetti's. It's the Vendetti book I like.
Yeah, I was about to say, it makes me very, very sad how good that book is compared to.
Yeah, exactly. It's his Vendetti's DC work has been compared to his Exo Manowar. His
God,
Exo
what was that
Manowar is pretty bad.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, it's
Good.
His,
I'm glad that
his
was
DC. His
all right.
DC work has been pretty.
I was hoping
pretty
that
bad.
was not your good.
But Exo Manowar has just been really, really solid and fun and a great read. It ties in really well with Unity because he's on that team, and that book has been a good read too. But Armor Hunters, I think, really sold it for me this year because I really enjoyed that kind of event book that went through. So, and then my last one is a new one that came out. It's only like 3 issues in, but Birthright by Williams. What's his? I don't know his first name. It's
You don't know his name, and it's
Joshua
3 issues in,
Williamson.
and it's your top 3 book.
I just pick it up and read
You
it.
don't have to know who writes the book to love it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to know who's.
I mean, don't
Man,
you?
this
Isn't
art
that
is
sort of a
this art is
byproduct of
in.
loving a
This
book?
writer is in. I don't know. Oh wait, let me go back and look at who this is. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but if it's your top 3 book of the year, don't you kind of like do a little investigation?
No, not really. But Joshua Williamson and Dre Bressan is the artist. So, but Birthright, it's
Sounds like
just
Steven
been
Mnuchin.
Jesus.
I missed that apparently.
Yeah, it's okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Steven Erdosha and the fucking Infinite Long Box podcast can't spell John Doe, or sorry, can't say the name John Doe without fucking it up. So you just fucked it up. So I was,
Fuck up John Doe.
dude, listen to this podcast. You'd be fucking amazed.
The other day, he was talking about Todd McFarlane and called him Tard McFarlane.
Tard?
Yeah,
Tard?
yeah. He's like Jim.
Does he call him Josh? Does he call him Josh Whedon? Too?
Yeah, Josh
He
Reedon.
probably pronounced it. He probably pronounced like Frank Quitely.
Jim Ree. He dude, it's
Jim
crazy.
Ree?
You listen to this podcast and you're just like, who the fuck is this guy? Are you kidding? How do you fuck up Jim Lee?
I've listened to it before. I don't remember that.
Dude, he does it like every other episode. It's like Salvador Roroca. It's like, are you fucking kidding? Anyway, I'm sorry. Please proceed.
Thanks.
This looks like a great book.
But Birthright, it looked really cool with issue 1 that came out, and so I read the first issue, and it's about a kid who vanishes, and he's gone for a year, and when he comes back, he's 20 years older, and this warrior, this sword wielding warrior guy. And his family is, in this year has been torn apart and is almost in ruins.
It's basically, he's gone 20
don't
years
fucking
in a
interrupt.
fantasy world, and modern world's only gone for it a year.
Yeah, Charlie says it. That's fine. I don't mind.
I'm better with the time.
I don't mind if he does it sometimes. Yeah. So it's set up really, really well and telling you what's going on in the present, and then referring back to the kid's adventures in this fantasy world that he goes to, where he's supposedly the chosen one to help save everybody there. So, really great book from Image that we sold out of issue 1, right? I'm really looking forward to where this book is going, and I've really enjoyed it. So,
Birthright. Look for the trade.
Birthright. Trade will probably be out in like
digital.comicsconspiracy.biz.
Yeah.
Boyo.
You can just subscribe to the single issues. Just click that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Either way.
And we're done. And that was clear near an hour. So yeah.
Hey, my pleasure.
yeah.
Thank God we got rid of that Marvel stuff at the beginning.
Yeah. Bryce had his moment in the sun at
I'm
the
telling
beginning.
you, take a picture of your list and put it on Instagram,
Dude,
Yeah.
dude,
so everyone can see it.
How much time do we have? Seriously, can we go through it and
You
lightning
got a
round?
minute and 30 seconds.
Okay,
Seriously.
can we lightning round? Okay, a minute and 30. Okay,
Yeah, go for
90
it.
seconds. So look, there was 5 major events as far as I could see that I wanted to talk about real quick. Avengers Times runs out.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom and come back. That'll be the time.
Marvel's Original Sin, Death of Wolverine, Spider-Verse, and Axis. I'm sure that DC had great events. I just didn't read them. I'm sorry. I'm sure that they were
That's
really
fine.
good. Just going through them real quick. We talked about Axis last week. I believe that it's getting way better because it started off as such a stinker, and probably half of that is just because I'm hoping it gets good rather than that it actually is good. But I do actually think that inversion is a really cool idea, and actually making the heroes villains is a cool idea. Spider-Verse, I mean, Charlie said it already, has been really cool. He's fucking timing me. Death of Wolverine, talk about a fucking stinker. That had so much promise and just landed with such a fart. Original Sin, we talked about this a couple podcasts ago. Great book. The Watcher on the Wall, an actually legit good mystery story. Jason Aaron needs to get more work as the writer of the big stories there at Marvel. Time runs out. Look, this isn't being fledged as fledged isn't a real word. This isn't being touted as an actual event book by Marvel like it should be, but it is sort of like it's like an event that's happening, whether or not they're doing a lot of promotion around it. But it's really, really good. It's about the multiverse crashing in on itself, and what's going on when Simon Spurrier is not writing Doctor Strange. Where is he? He's with the
for a
Black
second, I
Series
thought you were talking
in between
DC.
multiverses. So time runs out. Hickman's Avengers books. It's incredible.
Ironic name for a book, considering your time's run out. So
There you go. 90 seconds. Boom.
we'll have much more of you on.
Dude, Bryce, you should just seriously do like a YouTube channel.
to
like
talk
where you just
about whatever you want.
talk
I knew
about
you
all
have
the
to get
Marvel
this stuff out. We'll have
Maybe I will.
These other
Both of you.
episodes.
Maybe I will.
We'll have Bryce's corner where he could just rant for 5 minutes about whatever subject he
That
wants.
could be a Patreon thing
I was gonna say.
where we record Bryce just ranting, and then if you donate enough to Patreon, you get to listen to Bryce rant.
I would do that, by the way. I have plenty to say.
All right.
Poor bastards that appreciate my opinion.
Well, thank you guys for your list. Those are all great lists. We'll be back next week for our top movies and
For
TV
part
shows of the
2.
year. Yeah, part 2 of our best of
2014
end of year lists. So there you go. Don't forget to listen to this episode at geekbox.net and comicsconspiracy.biz, along with all our previous episodes. Forums at geekbox.net, and the Geekbox Facebook group is where you can go to talk to people. Go do that. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, as mentioned earlier, is where you can go buy all these comics we talked about. You should go try a few of them, see if you like them. Patreon.com/comic conspiracy. It's a crowdfunding site. Go there, donate some money to us, little as $1 a month. You can help support this podcast. We've got a bunch of people on there, and we'll keep hoping to get some donations on there. Conspiratorrock.com, comicsofthekind.com, Infinite Long Blast Podcast, and Wanders in the Fourth Dimension. It's all crap other people here on this podcast do. Go to those sites. Go do those things.
That's a great plug.
Ryan Higgins Ryan, that's me on Twitter. Brock Sager is Brock Sager. Omar, who's living it up in Hawaii, is at Comics of the Kind. Bryce Larsen is Larsen Bryce. Go tell him your top 5 cable stories. He'll respond.
There's not
like
enough
3 weeks later. He'll respond.
There's not enough characters on Twitter.
But he'll respond.
Wait. Was it last week or was it this week that I asked for them to tell you that you're full of shit about?
You say full of shit almost every week.
Toby is Toby XI.
No, but it was about Daisy. Was that this week or last week?
That was last week.
Last week.
Daisy.
Last week.
Daisy.
Go tell Ryan Higgins that he's crazy for not knowing who this character is.
Toby's
she's like a legit, not Marvel biased character.
Toby's Toby XI. Hopefully he's feeling better next week to join us. And Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. We got the Geek Box, the Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, and All Talk Podcast. Go listen to those. And Charlie wants to say something.
And come into the shop for the sale.
And you come into the shop for the sale starting Friday. You should do that. Hope you have a good Christmas if you celebrate it. If not, have a good holidays or good day eating Chinese food or whatever you do.
I forgot to mention last week, I was on Heroes and Villains.
Oh, yes, that's correct. You did
Issue
Booster Gold,
101.
Right? Yeah.
I was like, man, how am I going to follow up the 100th episode?
Yeah.
Followed it up with some Booster Gold.
Yep. Let's go listen to that. Heroes and Villains, good podcast.
Good.
Bryce, you'll have to be on for cable or something like that.
He's already done cable.
Oh, has he?
With who?
Well, then it
With
clearly
somebody
was
else.
to episode.
Even though I did get a mention on that episode.
You got a mention?
Nice.
I got a mention on that episode.
Bryce doesn't even get a
Probably
mention.
improperly done. You probably fucked it all up. Typical Charlie.
All right.
Actually, I was annoyed because not
was
only
on
did
there?
he do the cable episode, he worked Apocalypse in the same episode. I'm like, damn it, how can you do a cable Apocalypse episode without me?
I'm pretty sure there's some racism there.
We'll be back next week
Do you
for
even know
our
what that word means?
part 2.
One of us does.
We'll be back next week for part 2. Comic movies, TV shows, stuff like that, as well as some non-comic talk. Because there's other stuff we like that doesn't involve comics, although not too much these days. So that's it. See you next week.